down to dunk.
And I'm down to dunk. I'm down to dunk.
This is J-Dub, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lindy Waters, and I'm down to dunk. I'm Mike Muscala, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Kenneth Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to dunk.
We say this is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
Cracklin Oat Bran?
Have you had Cracklin Oat Bran?
No,
No. Okay.
but it's healthy.
Are you a big oat brand guy?
I'm a big Oat Bran guy.
Okay.
I think I would switch it with Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, eat faster. Don't put as much in the bowl.
Do you have a gallon of milk I can also take home?
You don't have milk at home?
One cinnamon toast.
Okay.
Crunch. Yeah. Cereal is great. Yeah. Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me, as always, on Mondays is my good friend, Michele Berra. Michele, what's up?
I'm sadly checking Mike Muscala's stats on the Celtics. I really, really miss him. Look at him shooting 75% from two and 39% from the line on 7.7 attempts. This is exactly what I want to see every single night.
He's a good player. He's a helpful player. No, I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's getting this opportunity.
Me too.
Glad he gets to spread his wings a little bit. I didn't know if he'd get to be honest. I didn't know exactly what their plans were. It felt like he could be anything from just like what he's doing now to like just like insurance, you know. And he's actually making an impact on the Celtics, which is great. It's just great. So today there's some news that kind of broke last night. We'll talk a little bit about this Kings game too, but after the game, a couple hours after the game, I think they decided to cut Eugene Omoruyi, which was kind of surprising to me. A little bit of backdrop. There's been teams inquiring about Dario Saric. Like teams are kicking the tires on Saric. Like, hey, can we get this guy to ask for a buyout? Can we get this guy on our team? Basically, playoff teams that want to be in the playoffs have been trying to get Dario and talking to his representation and seeing what they can do. And so, they have to be bought out by March 1st in order to qualify for the playoffs. So you just kind of, there's a chance something like that happens. Not to say like the door is like slammed shut on that, but it seems like it is at this point with what they did. Because I think the goal here with Lindy and with Eugene is to reward them. Like they've both probably done everything asked of them within the Thunder program. And have had success on the court and off the court and have both really pushed themselves. And, the Thunder are not only sending a message to them like, hey, you're valued. We appreciate your contributions. You've done a great job. You've done exactly what we've wanted. You've achieved what we've asked you to achieve. Here's your reward. But it's also a signal to every other agent and player looking for a two-way spot that says, hey, you know what? Not only do we like to use our two-way guys and play them, but if you do what you're supposed to do, you'll get rewarded. Even if that means that you're not going to be like a long-term piece of the future. And there's obviously been guys like Lou Dort was a two-way, Aaron Wiggins was a two-way. There's guys that will be part of what the Thunder are doing moving forward as two-ways. But even if not, it's a signal to the NBA as a whole and to the NBA community that like, hey, the Thunder reward their two-way guys.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's like the biggest part of this is like, hey, Lindy, we're going to reward you, but hey, look at how the Thunder utilize their two-way spots. If I'm an agent, I'm like, hey, my guy's good. Get him there because he's going to make some money and he's going to make me some money. Like it's just, to me, it's like overall like a ton of positivity all around for the organization, for Lindy. It's, to me, it's a win-win situation.
Sure, I completely agree. And the agent slash, two ways of the future part of it is extremely important. Like getting the final part of the game. I don't know how, if it is prorated, how much money they get it in the end. But it's good money, I would guess.
Probably
It's
like an extra like couple $100,000 for guys that like,
Yeah.
frankly, just wouldn't have that. It's like somebody just like writing you just like gifting you like $250,000, you know?
Yeah, that helps. It's not life-changing money, but it's something that if you're smart, will help you in the future. And he can go to, I don't know, play for another team, still be in the G League somewhere, or just try the Europe card, or China or whatever. And it's better to have that resume that he had an NBA, full NBA contract, a standard NBA contract.
Yep.
And again, this will make an impact on future players that are maybe not early in the second round, but places like that, to just be hopeful that OKC has a two-way spot for them, and they will have one open. Maybe they will just fill another one in the coming days. I think that Olivier Sarr is the only one who has a two-way right now.
Yep.
So we'll see. And for the future, who knows? I mean, you don't get always a guy like Lou Dort, but you may get a guy like him in the future.
Yeah.
And having this name out there that you are a team that takes second round picks and two ways very carefully and try to give them good deals and real option to showcase themselves, because Eugene had a lot of play time for a two-way on a team that is stuck with talent, and so has Lindy. So it's not just the money, but it's the real exposure that they get. They don't get like move-up duties; they get real minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Lindy Waters story, like I'm a sucker for like a good story.
Mm-hmm.
The story is just incredible. A guy who grew up in Norman, played with Trae Young, ended up going to Oklahoma State, played there, and I was still watching a lot of Oklahoma State hoops then. Like I liked Lindy. I just didn't think there was any way he's ever going to be an NBA guy, which is fine. He kept working, went and played for the team in Enid, then got a chance with the Blue, fought his way to a two-way spot, and now like has a standard contract. Like it is a legitimately very cool story. I mean, he's played at every single possible level in the state of Oklahoma, which is just like funny. Like he's legitimately the only player in the history of Oklahoma basketball to play at every single level like this.
It doesn't seem right. I mean, Church League of Michael Cage is not, probably didn't play there, so we need to
get that.
Yeah, maybe in the future.
I'm sure that he has played Church League. I'm sure he played some kind of Church League.
Okay, and it counts.
He probably played some rec league stuff. I mean, he probably played like YMCA rec league all the way up into the NBA. You know, like literally touching every single point that you could, from high school to college to like the semi-pro to the G League to the pro team. It's just so cool. That's just such a cool thing for me. I honestly, it gives me goosebumps just to think about what he's accomplished, and it's amazing. It's an amazing story. You can go check out Royce Young did a video with him, just kind of detailing his career last year. I think it's up on the Thunder's YouTube page, but like it's worth going to watch again. And just the fact that he ended up here, I think is just really cool. What it means for his future with the team, I would guess that his future with the team is not going to look all that much different than Eugene's. Not to say that they're going to cut him after 2 weeks, but he may only last this season because they need a roster spot. Now, is there a chance that he makes it to next year? Yes. He's got a 2-year deal. Dario is probably not coming back next year, I would guess. And so you can fill that spot with whoever you pick in the draft, and you have a chance to keep Lindy on a cheap contract, and Lindy has a chance to earn then some significant dollars if that contract is guaranteed for next year, where he can make about $2 million next year, which would be huge. So there's
Those are nice money.
Yeah.
Nice money to have.
Yeah, that could be some life-changing money for him. And you know what? Who doesn't need a 6'6" lights out shooter? Now he's got to be lights out. He's got to be Isaiah Joe.
Yeah.
In order to really, really make it. But I think he's got a shot to stick around for next year. And
can I say something stupid?
Always.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm always saying stupid stuff. Thank you. It's a good way to start our Monday conversation. But anyway, my point is, if you have to pick today and you have already 3-4 guys that are playing for a similar spot, like you have Jeng, you have Poku, you have JRE, and you have J Will.
Mm-hmm.
They can probably all play the 4. Someone can also play the 5.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Chetongren. That is maybe possibly playing next season if everything goes well, and I don't want to say anything more about it. And then you have quite a bit of wings guards, but there is playing time to be had there because nobody is perfect. You have Lou Dort, who is an incredible one-on-one defender that has, I would say, questions offensively. There is Josh Giddey, who sometimes seems incredible and sometimes, like last night, seems a traffic cone defensively, which was clearly apparent. Then you have Isaiah Joe, who seems very, very interesting and not as bad defensively, and offensively is my point is, are we ready to say that a 6'6" guard who can shoot the basketball at a above league average level is surely worse than a guy like Jerry? I know that we have seen moments of Jerry being a very useful NBA player, but for this team, are we sure that punting on a guy like Waters is surely better than not punting again on a guy like Jerry? I don't know. Probably I would lean Jerry today because he has shown to be a versatile, good enough defender, smart player. But Lindy's playing time has been not enough to have a full picture, and when he played, the results are not really bad, are actually very good.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's a stupid comment. I think that is something that we need to be aware of for everybody on this team, not named Shea, J-Dub, Giddey, Chet. I think everybody else is you know what? Figure it out. Just because you were taken in the draft, that doesn't mean that you're for sure getting a spot. I mean, you look at the on-offs. I mean, it's a small sample with Lindy, but he has the same positive point differential that Mike Muscala did. And it's not that many minutes, but still, the lessons are clear. The lessons are very clear with this season so far. It's you put shooting around guys like Shea, and you're going to have positive results. But shaky shooting next to them, you look at the top 3, Lindy, Mike, Isaiah Joe. You look at the bottom 3, Giddey, Jang, Poku. Shaky shooting at the bottom, great shooting at the top. Now, it's not that simple. That's probably just it's way too simplified because these numbers are tied to a lot of different things. It's not tied to just shooting, and it's not tied to just Shea and the way that they play with him. But again, it's not rocket science that shooting around one of the best drivers in the game is going to help.
Yeah.
And so, to me, keeping a guy like Lindy around instead of Eugene, because that's basically what they did.
Yes.
They probably sat down and said, hey, listen, we actually want to give both of these guys another deal, But in order for us to be able to keep Lindy, we have to give Eugene the deal first. And then we can let him go after 2 weeks. And then we'll bring Lindy in, and then we can keep him around.
Yeah.
I didn't really have that on my radar, to be honest. I really thought like, and I think I probably even said it on the show. Like, I probably would have rather kept Lindy. And like, now what does this mean for Lindy's future? And like, they probably knew all along that this was going to happen. Or maybe they thought there was a potential for Dario to get bought out. And then that's another way to keep both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really sure what the thought process was there, but they probably knew that this was a possibility when they signed Eugene, and like keeping Lindy. I mean, you just look at the offensive numbers. It's like, yeah, like why wouldn't you? I mean, they're a plus 10.9 per 100 possessions whenever he's out there. Like that's, I don't think it's coincidental that like a shooter that, that you have to care about that's out. I mean, it definitely matters. I mean, we're seeing it with Isaiah Joe. I don't know if Lindy can get to that level, but I mean, why not try? And especially for a homegrown guy like this. Again, I'm a sucker for a story, and I think a lot of sports fans are. Like, why not? I think it's a great deal. I think it's really fun. Let's talk about Isaiah Joe.
Yep.
Because in the absence of Shea, there's been a player that stepped up. And a player that I think I'm ready to say it. I think I'm ready to call it. I think that the race might be over, even if it all ended today somehow. That Isaiah Joe's the best free agent ever picked up by the Oklahoma City Thunder off of the scrap heap.
Yay!
I don't think there's anybody better than this guy. Like he's legitimate. He is somebody that the Thunder have been looking for, a guy like this since their existence. I think they hope that Daquan Cook could be, for example, a guy that's like this good. I think that Anthony Morrow just didn't have as much juice off the bounce, or a guy that like Isaiah Joe's not like,
mobility.
I was going to say a lot of wiggle. Like he's got way more wiggle than Anthony Morrow ever did. And there's just something special about Isaiah Joe, man. There just is. It's very, it's just exciting to watch. And he's one of the reasons where, like, if this Thunder season goes sideways from here, there are so many reasons to like be positive about what happened, even if things just go completely wrong from here on out. And like Isaiah Joe is one of the huge reasons why.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the interesting part here is not just the shooting percentage, which is great. I mean, 46, 45.8, I don't know, something like that.
45.3 as of today.
Okay, thank you. It's two things, and we probably already discussed it, or we mentioned it everywhere in our podcast. It's starting to be not just catch and shoots, which is important. I mean, last night he was taking guys off the dribble. He was doing sidestep, step back, relocation. All these things are stuff that OKC has been searched for ages, as you mentioned. I mean, Amo was a very, very good catch and shoot shooter who had also a few moves like dribble and then move to the right or to the left. But those were, if you had like an athletic guy running towards him, it was enough. And defensively, Morrow was a tragedy. Like, it's not his fault. It's just that he didn't have hips mobility. He really struggled to defend a screen here and there. So it's something where Isaiah Joe is not excellent. He is not a guy that you would put on the number one option on the other team. But it's someone that, as of today, I mean, I'm trying to pay more attention on how the opponent offense is treating Isaiah Joe. And to me, the answer today is like a normal defender.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that they are asking for screens and like screening for him to get on their ball handler. They are not doing that. And when they do, he's capable enough to be at least in front of the guy, which it's incredible. Like, you have a lights out shooter that is clearly showing you that he has more in terms of offense. And defensively, he works. He takes charges. He is very, very disciplined in knowing what to do, where to be. Like, come on. He's ready for a starting job, permanent starting job.
Permanent starting. Okay, get ready for this. So you mentioned that he takes charges.
Mhm.
So the Thunder are just like a charge taking machine out here. Like they love it. Kendrick Williams leads the NBA in charges. Total charges drawn 25 is the total for him. That's the most of the NBA. Jalen Williams, J. Will, 20 charges drawn. That's third in the NBA.
Jay will take a charge.
Jay will take a charge. That's right. Jalen Brunson is second, by the way. He has 23. And then you go down the list a little bit and you hit 11. That's how many Isaiah Joe has. Here are the other players that also have 11 total charges this year. Alex Caruso, Derek White, and Kyle Lowry.
That's insane.
So
This is what I'm saying, Andrew. He's ready.
one more than Draymond Green.
Wow. And
Two more than Jason
charges,
Tatum.
yeah, charges are not, how can I say, you cannot say, okay, 11 charges means he's as good as a defender as Derek White or Kyle Lowry. But it's part of it. It's part of the deal. And again, he is very, very focused on defense. So I'm exaggerating a little bit on the he should start kind of thing. But you can't deny that when he's on the court, the offense just looks better. And I really want to see guys like J-Dub having more time with him. So yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Meek Leak says, gun to your head. You can only keep one, Trey Man or Isaiah Joe. First of all, like, how has this escalated so much to where there's a gun to my head? Like, this is unnecessary. Like, this is.
I can answer without the gun, and I will answer anyway.
Yeah, I don't need guns pointed at my head when it comes to this. Listen, whatever we have to do to get the gun away from me, that's great. It's Isaiah Joe. I mean, it's just like there's just no question. Like, he's proven himself useful. Trey has way more skill with the ball in his hands, but my goodness, you can ask my kids. Last night I stayed home from the game last night because there were some really big storms coming into Oklahoma City last night. I don't know. I just would rather be here with my family. And we're sitting there watching the game together, and I'm just like yelling at the TV about Trey because, like, what is he doing? Like, he has so many like windows of opportunity to create something for himself or to take a shot, and he is just like passing the ball off, or he's like dribbling out of situations, like almost like avoiding situations where he's going to shoot. And it was just like, what happened? Like, what is going on here? And he's had good games. Like, I think his game against Phoenix was fine. Like, he played better. He had some moments where he looked like Trey Man again. But there's like mentally, there's like some kind of barrier there with him that if he were able to cross over it, like I think legitimately I would take him over Isaiah Joe, but he hadn't. Like, there's a clear problem there with Trey that sometimes like the mental stuff is the hardest stuff to get over. And like, that's just like a statement for life, that's just like period, the end. That's a statement for life. But I almost feel like bad for him watching him play because it's like, man, Trey, like, you've got like this skill. Like, he's probably like one of the top 5 players in creating space on a step back in the NBA.
And he's nearly not using it.
He's not even using it. And it's just like, I can't put my finger on it. I can't really figure out what's going on. And I feel bad, legitimately feel bad for him. But Isaiah Joe is taking advantage of the situation in front of him, in that he is shooting well. He's playing. He just feels like he's playing.
He's shooting well. Come on, he's exceptionally well.
Exceptional. He's playing defense. He's getting into the game. And boy, the Thunder have just a ridiculous contract with him moving forward.
It's 4 years.
It's outrageous what they have in him. It's 2 more years after this. But
Okay.
they have a team option in 24-25 on him for $2.1 million. I mean, that is going to be below league minimum that year, by the way.
Yeah.
So he signed a 3-year, $6 million contract on October 16th, 2022. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an outrageous deal. He's been so good for this team. And it's like the perfect situation for him because he found a situation where he can grow into his role and like grow alongside. Like he fits the timeline, and sometimes like we probably talk too much about timeline. We're like whatever. Like sometimes timeline is just kind of like whatever. But with this team and the way they want to play and the way they want to grow, like he just kind of fits right in and can slide right into that space. So it's been perfect, a perfect situation for both he and the Thunder.
Quick question. Suppose that, and I don't know that for a fact because it's been a while since I really dove into CBA rules. But can you extend him?
Yeah, but unless they change, so he will be extension eligible, but like it's only a
120%.
So like,
yeah,
he won't get an extension.
No, you can't do an extension like the Dort one, right? Where you can negotiate. You have like some way of putting him in a restricted situation. It's not an Inky special.
I don't honestly, I don't know. That's probably a John Hamm question.
Yeah. No, it's probably not the case. But suppose that you can. Who cares if you can't for real? And you can agree to an extension this summer. What is the amount that you think both parts should be amenable to?
How much?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd like to see it for another year.
Yeah, you will.
Probably something about what Dort's getting.
Okay.
Don't you think?
I think it's okay.
If he's this good, then like that with the new CBA, with the new TV deal it's going to be a good deal.
Yeah.
But his teammates love him. You can tell that they love playing with him. And in the absence of Shea, he is not shy whatsoever.
Nice. Really nice.
Thank you. He wants to grow. And he wants to get better. And you can see him expanding his game. And this is, Sam Presti even talked about this. I think this was before the Chet draft. He just talked about how, listen, if you're not working hard and if you're not improving, you will get left behind.
Yep.
And there are guys on this team. Think about the way we were talking about Trey before the season.
Oh, yeah.
He would not have been a guy that I would have envisioned getting left behind. But there are guys that will get left behind. Some of it won't even be their fault. Like Poku could get left behind just because he got hurt and broke his leg. And guys like Jay Will have had a chance to progress.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Poku's for sure getting left behind. I'm just saying that
it's a possibility.
Sometimes that will happen. Usman Jang is going to he's going to get more time. I'm not saying like Us is like on the clock here. Like he's got some time. But he has to improve. Like he can't be on the Poku track where it's like, you know what? We'll go from a guy that can like barely play, you give him 2 years and then like he can finally show something. Like I'm not sure that there's really time for something like that. Just not because the Thunder don't have time for it, but because they're bringing in a lot of guys and guys that are good and guys that were not expected to be good. Like you can even go back as far as saying like Kenrich Williams was not expected to be good.
Oh yeah, you surely can. He was a throw-in.
Yeah, Lou Dort was not expected to be good. Aaron Wiggins was not necessarily expected to be as good as he is, and Isaiah Joe was not even part of the equation until mid-October. And so you just don't know in what manner you could get left behind in this way. Like just because you were selected in the first round doesn't mean anything. And I like that the Thunder and Mark Daignault in particular are giving these chances to everybody and just saying like, hey, listen, we're wiping the slate clean. We don't care where you were picked or what you're doing. Like, go get it.
Yeah.
And a guy like Isaiah Joe has done that. And so I'm very interested to see how this works out. Now, one thing that these guys do have in their favor, like Poku and Jang and all these guys, is that they're only going to basically going to bring in one guy for next year. It would be my prediction. And
Yeah.
some things around the fringes could happen, like Lindy could get let go and they bring in somebody else, or who knows. But
They
I'm
can
talking,
move man for just a guy that they will not confirm.
yes, yeah,
It's
they could move Trey. Like little things on the fringes could happen here or there. But I would say for guys like Poku and for Jang and even for Jay Will and guys like that, and Jeremiah, you mentioned Jeremiah earlier, like there's no guarantee that Jeremiah Robinson Earl is going to be a part of the Thunder's future moving forward. Now, they're not going to be bringing in a ton of guys, and so they're going to all have a chance next year to like figure this out and to like fight for their minutes. And I think next year things are going to continue to look a little different as these years go along. I think this year has looked a lot different than last year in the way that they kind of let the guys play. And I think next year will look a little bit different than this year. I think probably more similar to this year, but still I feel like you're going to be able to see a little bit more clearly, like, oh, okay, like here's what J-Dub is. There's the track that he's looking like he's on, and here's how they play Lou Dort with Giddy, Shea, and Chet and J-Dub. You know, like you're just going to be able to see it more clearly.
meaning they will not play him. Is that is the way?
Why do you say that?
I mean, we will make comments on the Sacramento game, and I mean, I went out of my way to say that Lou Dort was on the right track, that De'Aaron Fox is the exact kind of guy that he will excel against. And by the way, I'm just staring at the shot chart of Isaiah Joe. He's shooting a beautiful 58% from the left corner.
Yeah,
like 58. 47 from the left wing. That's amazing.
it's good.
47% on catch and shoot opportunities. Like, nice. Just nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, 55% overall from the corners.
Yeah.
He doesn't take a ton of corner threes. But like the
But
guys
hey.
the most corner threes. You know what's weird? This doesn't feel like it quite matches the eye test. Aaron Wiggins shoots the most corner threes. It's over half of his shots. Do you know what he's shooting on corner threes?
No, 37.
30%.
Yeah, we already discussed that. It was weird. Yeah, now I remember.
Still weird to me. Like you look at everybody, like Kenrich is 41%. Jeremiah's only 32%. That's not great. Poku's 38%. Dort's 43%. Lindy's 50%. Jay Will. Any predictions for Jay Will? Any guesses?
I guess he shot 5 corner threes and probably 3.
Yeah, he's like 56%
Mm-hmm.
from the corners. Yeah, he doesn't take many corner threes either. He's above the break a lot, which is where a lot of bigs will trail. But yeah, Isaiah Joe's 55%. Giddy's 40%. He didn't take many either.
Too bad. He's taking a lot of bad threes as of late.
Yeah,
The
I thought Giddy last night. While there were a lot of traffic cones in Oklahoma City last night. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
Giddy was one of them. But I thought Giddy offensively played about a best game offensively that he's had in a while. You didn't think so?
Yeah. There were some anti-climatic possessions for Giddy.
Yeah, but overall.
Yes. Overall, it was okay. I just want him to be back at the guy who takes threes and makes some of them.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Giddy's a work in progress. We just have to remind ourselves how young Giddy is sometimes.
Yeah. No, I remember that. I'm not mad at Giddy. I'm not ready to say, oh, Giddy doesn't work. But and to be honest, he was better in terms of plus minus than a guy like J-Dub, who
Mm-hmm.
I'm really struggling to see why lineups with J-Dub are negative. He seems always very, very good. There was a moment in the game who I clearly thought he was out for too much time. And I mean, the fact that it's impressing me the most about J-Dub is the fact that he is getting better and better at guarding like one position up, which is something that I think in the best version of the Thunder will happen quite a lot. So I really wonder how much we will see as early as next season from J-Dub in terms of defense. And offensively, I just want to see him more in terms of being aggressive, taking shots. I think that he has to take way more threes than the one that he's taking right now. Even if he misses them, who cares? Just take them.
Yeah. He's a really smart player, and he likes to pick his spots. And sometimes he's a little bit more timid than he needs to be, for sure.
Come on, Meek League. He hit one last night.
Yeah. What did he say? Where is it at?
Giddy has been pretty poor recently. No, it was it was not Meek League. It was Yoni. I don't think Giddy has hit a three this entire month. Yes, he did literally yesterday, but not many.
He's 6 of 27 for the month,
which is a fat 18%.
22.2%. This is his worst 3-point shooting month so far. He was 23% in November.
Mm-hmm. Hey, maybe it's a cycle. So we will get back to 36, back to 40, and then it's October again.
Yeah. I'm looking, Yanni, I'm looking at shooting splits on Basketball Reference. That's where I'm finding the stat. Yeah. I mean, I'm not worried. This was how it was going to go with Josh. Mm-hmm. You don't go from a player that's like a bad shooter, and then like after like 2 weeks of the season where he was actually pretty terrible, he became a really good shooter. Like you just don't arrive on that track and just like the train just keeps on chugging down the road. Like it's going to be up and down. It's going to go all around. I mean, that's what he's going to have to truly establish himself as a shooter, and it's going to take time, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine. He's 20 years old.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time. I mean, he's younger than a lot of the guys that were drafted that are rookies right now. And so it's going to take him some time to figure it out. But also he needs to figure it out.
Yes, we have to see it. I was about to say we have to see it. But if you look at the future, like things are so interesting for OKC. It's almost like next season they will have 2.5 first-round picks. Because, I mean, Ooze is basically being, I'm searching for a term where you take a draft pick and then you put it on in Europe. How was the
draft and stash?
Draft and stash. There you go. They basically draft and stash them to the G League like they did with Eustace. Not that this is a precedent that you necessarily want to use as an example, but he will have more opportunities next season. You have Chet, and you have the next first-round pick that they will take. Jenk is the half first-round pick in this calculus because you kind of see him for a bit, but not too much. Yeah. So it's very interesting. There is minutes to be had, and I think that you're right. Next season, it will be a little bit more. It will be different.
Yeah, it will.
And I'm sure that the leeway will be a little bit different from this season.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break, and then let's talk about where the Thunder are with their draft positioning. We've watched a bunch of these guys, and so I kind of want to talk through, if things do go awry, like what reasons you have to be excited. So we'll talk about that right after this quick break. And we're back after that quick break. Michele, the Thunder's. This is the Thunder's first 3-game losing streaks, and I think since December.
Mhm.
And with that, they are now down to 8th, or if you'd like to say it this way, up to 8th in the reverse standings.
Mhm.
And there's some interesting options in that range.
There is only one option, Andrew. Just
I mean,
one.
I know, Anthony Black. This should be our only option there.
That's no. There is only one option that
Yeah.
will make this podcast an absolute must listen,
Oh my God.
especially the Fry Pod. It will be
Back the mute button.
exactly. You will have to bring it back. You have to get the bleep sound here and there. But Grady Dick is the only option if we have a top 10 pick. I mean, you don't necessarily want to create a copycat of Isaiah Joe again. But if you can get a taller version of Isaiah Joe on this team, that
Here's
takes
also the thing: having more than one guy that can shoot, it's okay.
it's more than okay, especially if you get two very good shooters on the move, guys that by screening, by relocating, can create havoc on the other team. We've seen it firsthand with Sacramento. Sacramento has a very good guard that can push the pace, especially when there is a guy that is not really interested in defending him. Sorry, I had to. No, it's a little bit too harsh. And you have a center that knows how to play ball.
Yeah.
Sacramento was creating open shot after open shot after open shot, and it's because of guys like Kevin Huerter that can move around, take a shot. And I think that Grady Dick can be a better version of Kevin Huerter because he's taller.
Yeah.
He has better defensive instincts and the same pure, smooth jump shot. Maybe he's a little bit less of a playmaker. Kevin Huerter was a guy who could run an offense at Maryland. Was he at Maryland?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. So I really like him. I really, really like to have another shooter or a guy that can really play with force. Neither is Anthony
Grady
Black,
Dick can pass though. Like I don't think like the Herder comparison is like a bad one.
No, but he was a better. He was playing on ball quite a lot. Grady Dick is not as much. He can play in transition on ball, but he's not like a full-time ball handler. Herder was almost a full-time ball handler.
Sure. Yeah. And honestly, like I'd rather have the guy with the skill set that is like not on the ball. Like that's not what they need. Like they need somebody that can run around and can redirect the defense and bend the defense in a way that currently, like Isaiah Joe does it some, but I think that
A little bit more than some.
I think Grady Dick would bend the defense more, though. I think he would have the opportunity to bend it a little bit more.
Why?
I think the height is like a legitimate thing, and I think that I just like the way he moves off ball a little bit more. Than he does.
Then we agree. It's the only option. There you go. I mean, I really don't have in my head a way to put Anthony Black in this unit and say, okay, this will work. This will work fine. No more ball enders. No more. We already have too many. I
don't think you can have too many. I think that's a misnomer.
Oh, I clearly can. I mean, I really think so. There was a comment, I don't remember from whom, about the fact that let me state the phrase that makes sense. The fact that J-Dub is getting on ball more, and the fact that Trey Mann plays a lot with Giddey and or J-Dub is the reason why Trey Mann is not creating as much with the ball in his hands. So
I disagree. I'm watching and I just disagree wholeheartly.
Okay.
I think that there's been a shift in mindset. I just think that is just not. I don't believe that's the case.
Okay.
I watched last night and saw 3 or 4 opportunities for him that he himself turned down.
Possibly. I just wonder.
I watched it happen. Right.
No, I agree. I agree. Okay, let's say it's true. It doesn't mean. Let's take away the man thing.
Yeah.
I really think that you have a certain threshold where you can have many ball handlers if they are able to play really well off ball.
Mm-hmm.
And you already have a shaky one in Josh Giddey. You have a non-natural one in Shea Gilgeous-Alexander who can work off ball, but is not going to do it.
Sure.
Or to do it to a lesser degree. Yes, he will take spot up trees, but it's not really what he likes to do. And it's
Really doesn't take a lot of
mostly,
threes this year.
yeah,
He's
it's,
gonna have to adjust.
you have Chet, who is a guy that wants the ball and can probably. So you already have 4 ball handlers.
Yeah.
You clearly don't need 5 while you really need the undershooter.
Yeah.
You
I'm not
really
saying I
need
agree
one.
with you, but I just wouldn't be surprised to see them take another ball handler. I just wouldn't be surprised.
Hey, you said it yourself. Grady Dick is also a ball handler. So
I think he can do it. I think he can do it. I think
great then. Like just package 5 of your picks and get a dick.
Okay, so let's take a look at the board. I'm gonna sim the lottery here, and let's see where we end up, and we'll talk about who we would take. If it's just Grady Dick, then we can just move on to our next one. Here we go, simming the lottery, and the Thunder. Oh my gosh, the Thunder have. Okay, this is very interesting. The Thunder have ended up at number 2 in my first simulation of the lottery.
Oh, okay.
So now what, Michele? So now what?
Now we scoot.
Now we scoot.
Oh yeah. What else can you do?
You
Like,
ready to add another ball handler to the team now, Michele?
oh yeah, if it's if it's that kind of a ball handler. I mean, I have my starting unit ready. That's Scoot with Scoot, and we will figure out later. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a certain like talent threshold where even if it doesn't fit, you really don't care. If you like, for me, like if you can get a guy like Scoot and you think that your coaching staff is willing to make things work, which I think they probably are,
Without a doubt.
you will sacrifice guy like, I mean, okay, let me, you can sacrifice both Giddy and J-Dub if you think that Chet is that Scoot is a possible Hall of Famer.
If you think your trio could be Scoot, Shea, and Chet.
Yeah. And you figure out everything else later. And I think that J-Dub works to perfection. Giddy, I don't know.
Fine. Giddy would be the one in question at that point. But also, if he can learn to just hit a spot up 3 and just be like your ultimate connector and play the 4, like then you really don't have you really don't even have a problem.
You have a Dort problem, but it's a problem that I would welcome if you have Scoot.
He would come off the bench. You're just such a hater.
I am.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, but you really want to allocate 18 millions on a guy that will play probably 20 minutes?
It's going to be more like, it's going to look more like 10 after the new.
It will always be 18.
I know it will be, but the percentage of the cap will look more like 10 has traditionally. And that's okay. And that's okay.
It's mostly a thing that you can solve. This is as much as I can.
Having a point of attack defender like him just on your roster somewhere. That's
attack defender.
You know he can do it. I know that there were definitely points last night where it was like, oh my gosh, like it looked like he was more trying to like swat a fly that was in front of De'Aaron Fox than like actually defend him. But like, I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
I want consistency in my life, and also while watching basketball games, I want consistency. And Dort has to give me defensive consistency every single night.
Yeah.
I don't care if he has. I mean, I care, but not as to this degree that he has on-off nights
Yeah.
offensively. I
Yeah.
can get by that, especially in terms of results. In terms of choices, a little bit less, but still okay. Defensively, no. No, you just can't.
82 games is a lot, Michele. 82 games
Sure.
is a lot.
Also 18 millions.
Yeah.
16.
I just
I'm holding him as to the highest standard
when we
defensively.
get when the Thunder get back to the playoffs, he's just somebody that I trust
Okay.
to just go all out, even if it's off the bench. Anyways, okay, that's spin number 1. Let's do like 3 spins here. And we can talk about 3 different prospects.
Can we also say that we will not talk about Brandon Miller?
Yeah, let's address that real quick because he's popping up here in the chat some. The Thunder are not going to draft Brandon Miller, even if they're at 3 or 4. That's just not going to happen. So just you can put that to rest. Just look. I mean, you can look up him down the team now and like tell that like the quality of person really matters, and the kind of stuff that Brandon Miller's been involved in. Not great. The patting down thing before the game is just like, all right, no way, man. And is he the perfect kind of basketball player? Yeah, he'd be amazing. But if you don't have the personality and if you're not the right kind of person, you're not going to put on the Thunder uniform. Like it's just not going to happen. And so like you can go ahead and write him off. Like I would go ahead and like tattoo a Rockets emblem on the guy because I just don't know like what other team is going to be willing to take that risk on him. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, and I would not even think of. I mean, it's really hard to see what other teams will do.
Yeah,
I mean, certain teams like to take risks. Others try to push on some characteristic that players need to have mentally, physically, psychologically. They I don't know. There are many things, and I really think that Brandon Miller is someone that me and Andrew really loved in terms of offensive fit. We just gushed about him many times.
Great player, high offensive ceiling. Like I think he's got some defensive.
Yeah, that shooting is amazing. But there are stuff where you can say, okay, no.
This is
so we will not pick him tonight.
Okay, let's do another spin real quick. And the Thunder have ended up at 9. So
Grady Dick
is gone. He's been selected by the Magic at 8, according to Tankathon.
Oh no!
So now what do we do? This is what I'm kind of glad this happened because this is what I want.
I'm trading up.
You can't trade up.
Come on, I can. I have so many assets.
The Pacers say no. The Magic say no. Everybody.
The Magic will say yes, depending on what you give them.
No, they're
who they are picking.
Nick Smith and Grady Dick.
Oh, come on,
they're sold.
Nick Smith.
They're sold. Okay, so now the players that are available: Keontae George out of Baylor, who I'm a fan of. Cason Wallace out of Kentucky, small defensive guard. Like I'm just kind of out on that. Like I don't like that. Cam Whitmore is available out of Villanova, who's not a Thunder guy. Bryce Sunsaba, also not a Thunder guy.
Oh no.
Jet Howard, also maybe a little bit more of a Thunder guy, but not really.
No, you know who I'm picking. If
my guy Anthony Black,
no,
and
definitely not.
Ryan Rupert.
Ryan Rupert. This is exactly who the Thunder
old. Yeah,
will pick him.
Yeah, he feels like he already wears a Thunder jersey. He's French. He plays for the New Zealand team. We're going to talk more about him on. I don't want to spill all the beans on this guy right now because we're going to talk about him on the Dream Team Draft Show. If you want to listen to that, we're going to record it tomorrow and should have it out tomorrow afternoon. Go to patreon.com/OKC Dream Team and you can listen to that show tomorrow.
Or on Spotify.
You can listen on Spotify too. Search for it on Spotify and you can subscribe there too. So that makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, I think he's interesting, and I like Anthony Black. Apologies to everybody for that. I just can't get over the passer that he is and the defender that he is, and I just really like his hair as well. And he's 6'7", and he can just like fill a lot of different roles. So I would take Anthony Black at that spot if it were me. And just try to figure it out. So all right, let's give one more spin. Let's see. So they're at 8. It's funny because like the way that this like shifts, like they have Jarris Walker available at 8. How do you feel about Jarris Walker at 8?
Is Dick available?
He is.
Torn here.
Yeah.
I need to see more of Jarris. I understand the allure.
Yeah. 6'8" power forward, a guy like it's like tough as nails. He's pretty big dude.
Yeah, he defends quite well.
Can shoot it a little bit.
He can shoot it a little bit. I'm not trusting the shot as of yet. To me, like it's just, hey, come on. You know what works. You really know what works. Do you need to strike gold in this draft? Yeah, you can. But if you have a very good pick, in this case, I would just. To me, it's just playing it not safe, but playing for something that I know I can just put in my roster and he will shine.
Yeah,
it's just, hey, look at that jewel. If I take that stone, I know that it will look great on you. Yeah, but if you take this other one and you okay, but I know that works. Like, so I don't know. It's very close to a 50-50 call. To some degree, a guy that can just slam his body onto Domas, a guy like Domas would be welcome.
Yeah, and he's
but
pretty slow.
Yeah, but if he limits to any degree my best player, then I will not put him in. There are units that are. There are moments where you don't close with Giddy because he doesn't have it shooting wise, and Giddy is a genius of a basketball player. I'm really afraid of drafting a guy. And again, with Walker, it's let's call it a 50-50. I'm taking Grady Dick just because I really, really value shooting and good enough defense more than other stuff. Yeah. But there, one thing that I think we should go back for a second and talking about last night, there is also a problem with this roster that I don't think that Chet will solve, which is rebounding. Mm-hmm. He will improve that. So if you're convinced that a guy like Jarris Walker can be a 40% three-point shooter, 35% three-point shooter, I care more about the volume.
That was a big swing right there. That was a big
sorry. No. I was thinking about a number. I just said the wrong number.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like 35, 36% on 5 attempts, like a guy who really takes threes.
It's not a quick release. So it's not. He's got to like be really set up.
Yeah, that's. But he takes some jumpers.
He takes jumpers
from the dribbles.
He likes to do a lot of stuff. Like he likes to.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced with his feel though. You know, he looks a little bit.
Yeah.
A little clumsy doing some of it, so I'm not like fully convinced on him as like somebody that can like truly blossom. But I can see him being like a great role player, like a role player plus for them, and they kind of need a guy similar to him, but like, and he's different than Jay Will, but he's also kind of similar to Jay Will. I don't know. He's got a little bit more wiggle than Jay Will, but not a whole lot more. I don't know. I think I would rather pick Grady Dick as well.
Yeah, but we need to fix the rebounding stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why they don't absolutely get destroyed night in, night out is because they have guys at the guard position that can do it. And like Giddy is like a huge reason why, they don't get absolutely pummeled there. And Grady being the size that he is, I think helps. I don't know. I'm not as concerned about it.
Yeah, but they have a huge problem there. It's not a tiny one. But
they're also so young.
And it's not one of those problems where you have to fix it immediately. Like You
Yeah.
can see how Chet does, and then see.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. Okay. Well, if you want to hear more of us talking about the draft, you can go to patreon.com/OKC Dream Team and subscribe there. We talk about all these prospects in pretty good detail. You can also subscribe on Spotify if you just search OKC Dream Team. So do that. The Thunder play the Kings again tomorrow. So we'll talk more about the Kings on Wednesday. Hopefully Lou Dort will show up a little bit more. We'll also see about Shea. I think we'll have a little bit more information about how he's feeling. I don't expect him to be out for an extended period of time. But also I'm not for sure. I know that he was like feeling it pretty good after that Utah game and kind of aggravated that injury. So we will see, but we will hope you guys have a great day. We will talk to you guys again on Wednesday.